Today we're going to speak about strategic workforce planning and why the need to staff appropriately. So basically our department deals with hundreds of people every day. We, on any given day, will get roughly 500 calls within our call center. We have to deal with whatever that call is. So it could be anything from a guy saying that he's on site that he needs to log a ticket so that he can begin work, to someone who is needing to buy parts because he's already created the work and found the problem and is now needing to get parts to resolve the issue. The problem is that we have to have enough staff on hand to be able to handle whatever those 500 calls are going to throw at us. So if we're not able to staff the amount of folks we need to handle the customers that we've bid into contract with to state that we are going to handle this need, then we're going to fail. We're going to lose revenue. We're going to lose just company business in general. So we must have enough staff on hand to meet this customer's demand, and I feel we cannot overlook the importance of the well-staffed department. Meeting the customer's needs by keeping the department staffed appropriately is a must-have. Our jobs depend on it, and that's the bottom line. There's nothing else to really state or really go forward with. If we don't do this, then tomorrow we don't have a job. According to the Human Resource Planning Society website article, Staffing Best Practices, our organization's ability to hire, develop, and retain employees might be the most critical determinant for success in the next 2 decades. This article was written in 1999, and so you can see we're already entering the second decade from this time frame. When this was said, how much more is it critical to what we have to do today, and how much more does it apply? So according to USC's website article, Strategic Staffing Plans, start thinking creatively about your workforce because the standard rules no longer exist. This same article makes a statement that consider alternatives to traditional employment because the traditional 40-hour-a-week employee will eventually vanish from the landscape. And I'll speak to something that's non-traditional maybe here in a little bit when we speak to staffing, but at least it's non-traditional to our department. We've never done it before, and I think it will help us succeed. So agents are needed 24/7, 365 to answer calls and help field technicians. What we're looking at, what we do on a daily basis, our guys in the seats, the calls they handle, what they do is they help manage the uncertainty of growth. They minimize growing pains, increase focus on our business and our company's vision, they reduce overhead, and they decrease employment costs. Some of the things that they are tasked to do on a daily basis is handle the customer need in whatever that may be. At a moment's notice, they have to be able to decide how are they going to help him, what's the need exactly that he has, and how are they going to move forward. All of that, or none of that happens if we don't have the staff in place to actually take the call, to pick up that guy, and if we drop the call or the call is lost, we've lost either a potential customer or we've lost one of our valued customers. Either way, we've lost revenue. So the Human Resource Planning Guide states that when properly staffed, a company is more efficiently capable of handling the day-to-day production of its goods and processes. We see that. We know this. We've been there. This isn't anything new to us. So I don't understand some of the arguments that are made. I want to try to refute some of those arguments. They state that each employee lost or needed equates to thousands of dollars lost in revenue due to training need, customer loyalty lost, compounded work, and employee morale displacement. So what are we talking about here? What's some of the evidence? So we've got revenues lost to training, revenues lost due to customer disenchantment, revenues lost to employees' morale. We have to be able to see that this is very important, and you guys have to see that how important it is to our department so that we can support a fully staffed department. And I'm going to break away from this right here and come back to another slide of mine or another presentation. So basically what I want to speak to is we need to identify the critical variables. And what I mean by that is we need to identify Uh, what different critical aspects of our job do we handle for the customer on a day-to-day basis that we have to do? What are those variables? We need an analysis of each job position in relation to these variables. So what this analysis does is allows us to actually see, if I know that I have 500 calls coming in a day, well, we know that roughly one employee can handle about 10 calls an hour before he is overstressed or just not able to handle the workload. At 10 calls an hour, looking at that 500 call a day average, we can show exactly what we need to fill the calls taken in the hour. Of course, you have to figure in lunches and breaks and things like that to actually get the true amount needed. But when I'm speaking to this analysis, I'm also speaking to what queues can people handle. Certain people handle the first stage of queues, and that's all they get. Then there's other folks that handle the first and the second. Then there's others that handle the first, second, and then the third. If you don't have a good balance of all of those folks within the NOC, handling all of the calls and handling all of the duties, then it won't work either. So you can look at the staff and say, oh, well, we just need 10 people for this hour. Well, no, you actually need several doing this stage, several doing that stage, several doing this other stage. It's not just 10 people. It's a diverse set. And if you don't have that analysis of each job position, you'll never get that. I believe we need a graphic representation of this staffing plan that identifies the critical level of each position. And the reason for that, I believe, is because if we've got the visual on hand, if we've posted that, it is easier to keep everybody on target and things will stay on track. So then after that, I say we update the plan according to staff mobilization, we report on the results, and we continue to show actions for improvement. And if we handle those last three components of that, I believe we'll round it out and we'll finish out what we need to do in our plan, and it'll help us to stay on track. Since one of the things that I would propose, since we hire mainly we mainly hire temps anyway, I see nothing truly to lose. What we do is we simply train at the first level. We have the temp come in, we have them learn this first level of training. It's a 2-day training course. They learn that, they get on target, start doing that initial first step. If they don't work, we let them go. We've not lost anything. We've not hurt ourselves as a company. We've not hired a full-time employee that started getting benefits and then we had the legal process of getting rid of them. We've hired a temp through a temp agency. We can let them go easily. But I would go further and say, let's not just look at a full-time temp. Let's look at a part-time temp. Let's look at someone who can work the meat of the day, maybe for 4 or 5 hours for 4 or 5 days. Let him work. He costs far less. If he doesn't work out, it's the same thing. We let him go after a short period of time. They can cover shifts whenever the need is high and on a moment's notice. So the arguments that I can see that you're thinking of, I can see one definitely. Some will say that we waste time teaching this person. I say not so if we train them through a process. If we train them through a level, just like I stated, 2 days worth of training, you don't waste much time, you get them on the calls, that first stage is seen, you can evaluate them, and then you can let them go if need be. There's also the fear of overfilling the need, hiring too many employees when we don't need them. Well, that's not an issue either, because if it's a temp, we can always let them go at any time. So yes, maybe you do staff 10 where only you need 8. You know what? When we get to the 8 and we realize that they're important and that's the amount we need, we let the other 2 go. So we know a staff must be on hand at all times. We know they must be there during the 8 to 5 shifts. Appropriate staff must be on hand for lunch coverage. We cannot wait until the need is there. We must prepare for the need now or we will fail. So in closing, every day we have the chance to help or hurt our company's name. Let's work together. Let's stay true to our focus. Let's look at the corporate vision. Let's decide each day and every day that we will come in contact with the folks that we have calling in or needing help. We're going to do everything we can to provide great support. We're going to give them great customer service, and we're going to build assets within these people. I think if we do this, we staff appropriately, and we hire as we need them, and let them go as we need them through the temp agencies, I don't see how we fail. I need your support. I need you guys on board, and if we do this, I believe following this plan we can succeed. Thank you.